All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to be in the 147-pound division, where Errol, Spence Jr. and Terence Crawford's news will be coming out soon about what they are going to do, because the schedule for the PBC is coming out shortly. Had a conversation with several people, very interesting conversation about whether or not the Errol Spence Terence Crawford fight was going to happen, whether it should happen, and whether it will happen on this PBC card. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to be in the 147-pound division, where there's some hard choices to be made by some very big name fighters. The schedule for the PBC and their new Amazon deal is going to be coming out shortly. At least that's what's going on around. And there's, of course, a lot of talk about what fights will be taking place. I am here, and I've talked to several people that believe that this is also the case, that there's a lot of positioning going on, but with Errol Spence Jr. and Terence Crawford about whether or not these guys are going to fight. But ultimately, there's not a lot of choice to it. But before I get into that, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. And if you're a longtime subscriber and supporter of the channel, thank you so much for your continued support. Means a huge difference, makes a huge difference to the channel. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But let's get into this. A lot of talk about Terence Crawford going to fight Tim Tszyu in for some crazy reason in Australia. And I'm not saying to shaking my head at the fact that it could happen, because I mean, dude, Terence Crawford is totally unpredictable in the way that in his decision-making processes. Totally unpredictable, but highly successful. Unpredictable, but highly successful, right? So he very well may. And we don't know what the contract, whether or not he's out of the rematch or not out of the rematch with Errol Spence Jr. But what we do know is that the fight has to be paid for, and you have to have fights that people actually want to see. Now, one of the reasons that this rematch, the things that we actually know about the rematch, is that Errol Spence Jr. wants the rematch. And Errol Spence said, hey, man, get out of your feelings. Let's run it back. But Terence Crawford is not happy because of the fact that Errol Spence Jr. said that he was injured going into that fight. Errol Spence said that he had cataracts in his eye. He couldn't see. That's why. Why do you think I kept getting hit with all of that stuff? Because I can't see it. Now, you had heard stories from people in his camp that are on video saying it. That, look, man, no matter what's his name, Michael Jai White, the martial artist, said he has a good friend that sparred with him and said, look, man, this guy's not reacting the same way that he used to react to two punches coming at him, right? And people could say, okay, that could be neurological damage. Errol Spence Jr. gives an explanation after a surgery and says it was cataracts. But Terence Crawford doesn't like it, so now I'm done with the fight. But here's the thing. Terence Crawford has said that he was done with that fight 4 or 5 times. I'm not doing it anymore. That's over with. We're not doing it. We're not doing it. We're not doing it. But what happens? The fight winds up happening, right? Now, here's my thing. If somebody says that they are injured and that's why they didn't perform well, you can take one or two routes. You can say, I don't believe you, and so therefore I'm not going to fight you again because I don't believe you. You made me mad by saying that, so now I don't want to fight you. But over time, what is that really going to say? How can many people look at that? And I'm not talking about the fans of the particular person. I'm talking about neutral observers that really care enough, or somebody from that fighter's fan base. They're going to say, yeah, you knew the guy was hurt. And once a guy told you he was hurt and let everybody know he's hurt, you want to act like he ain't hurt, but then you won't fight him. If you believe that he's lying, then shoot, you should be able to beat him up quite easily again, shouldn't you? Like, oh, hey, man, I had a sprained ankle when I raced you last week. And you have people like literally saying, no, I saw him sprain his ankle. I could see his ankle was swollen. Like, he took pictures. He took his shoes off. His ankles were swollen. Nah, I'm not going to race you again. I know you're lying. What's that? And you're going to get paid a lot of money to race me again? Nah, I'm going to take less money, go over here and fight somebody. I'm going to go race somebody else for less money. Man, it may make you think that you knew this guy was injured and you just don't want it, right? If that is what Terence Crawford's feeling is, then Terence Crawford should fight Errol Spence Jr. again. Easy. That, to me, is an easy decision, especially if you're like, it doesn't matter if you're healthy or not, I'm going to beat you. But to go fight Tim Tszyu, who nobody really thinks can beat Terence Crawford, how does that help? It's not like he has multiple belts and you have to drop your belts, all of the belts that you have to go do that. I think more than likely what's going to happen is Errol Spence Jr. and Terence Crawford are going to fight one another. And that a lot of this conversation is going to make the fight more sellable than it was before. However, even if it is not more sellable than it was, or not as sellable as it was before, right? And by that, I mean, as sellable as the original fight was, or more sellable than it was right after the fight took place, it's still more sellable than any other fight that Terence Crawford has. Still is. Nobody is piling into, I guarantee you, people are not going to be pouring into a bunch of pay-per-views for Tim Tszyu. They're not going to do it for Jaron Ennis either. Not like that for Jaron Ennis. The fight that I think he should take if he doesn't fight Errol Spence Jr. is Keith Thurman. Probably not. Only person that I know that could really be bigger for him than that is Canelo Alvarez. And Canelo Alvarez, I don't care what people keep putting in video titles, has not said that he is willing to fight Terence Crawford. In fact, I doubt very highly that Canelo Alvarez is, because again, the risk reward is not there for Canelo. No risk reward, positive risk reward relationship for Terence Crawford, because in order for Canelo Alvarez to do it, he has to get more reward out of it than he would get fighting somebody else. And if you didn't notice, he's got both Jermall Charlo and David Benavidez sitting there. And he's got a Dimitri Bivol rematch if Dimitri Bivol were to go up and be able to beat Beterbiev at 175 pounds. Then he could go up and try to become a two-time undisputed champion. But, that's just my thoughts on the matter. I'm certainly hoping that we get to see either Errol Spence, Terence Crawford and Jaron Ennis, Terence Crawford, Tim Tszyu, or Terence Crawford, Canelo Alvarez. I just think the Errol Spence Jr. one is the one that should probably happen. And because of the deal that they have with Amazon Prime, is the one that probably will happen, despite the back and forth being said and the things being said by Terence Crawford and other people about it. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.